to update us on the real situation at the border. The Attorney General of Arizona, Mark Brnovich, is with us. He's also running for the Senate against Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly, probably the single most reliable Schumer vote for the people of Arizona when you get to the polls in November. This is an absolutely open seat that Republicans can and should pick up. Anyway, Mr. Attorney General, welcome back to the program. Glad you're with us. I want you to update us on specifically a brief that you filed with the Supreme Court to defend the public charge rule that would ensure certain non-citizens are able to financially support themselves in order to become a U.S. citizen, et cetera. Now, I've said if we're going to have legal immigration, which I support, I don't care where anybody comes from, but we got to do a background check. In the middle of a pandemic, we need a health check, and people have to show that they have the financial means to take care of themselves so they won't be a burden on the American people. So I think all three are fair. What's the status of the lawsuit?
Well, Sean, you are a great American, and so thank you for having me on again. Your listeners know that the looming man-made disaster facing this country is not climate change, but it is the disaster the Biden administration and his enablers like Cartel Kelly have created along our southern border. So the Biden administration has decriminalized people coming here. They've incentivized and what I call monetizing people coming here illegally. So the Supreme Court accepted our challenge, our brief on the public charge rule. And this is basically a statute that for 100 years in this country, if you want to come here, if you want to get a green card citizenship, you want to become an American, you have to be able to support yourself. The Trump administration said that if you want to do that, you cannot be on public benefits or welfare for more than 1 year of your first 3 years here. Common sense rule. We don't want to monetize people coming here. And as you mentioned, Sean, we're all about legal immigration, the rule of law. I'm a first-generation American, and the reason why people come here is because the rule of law means something. But the Biden administration abandoned the defense of that rule. They wouldn't defend it in court, and they won't enforce it, and they withdrew it. So we said as the states, the AGs have been the tip of the spear. We said, wait a minute, if the Biden administration won't defend the law, we will. So we filed it. The Supreme Court accepted the case. A lot of court watchers were kind of surprised, and we just filed a brief basically setting forth our position as to why it is constitutional and necessary to make sure that people come here. If they want to come to America, if you want to be an American citizen, you got to follow the rules and you got to be able to support yourself. Common sense, integrity when it comes to our immigration laws.
Okay, and where do you feel this is going, and how long is it going to take? Is this a June ruling you would expect? When arguments?
Yeah, and they haven't set the argument yet, Sean. And as you know, I argued Brnovich v. DNC, the most important election integrity case earlier this year at the Supreme Court. And I want to personally argue this one too, hopefully with my schedule permitting, because it is a landmark important case. They have not set it on the calendar yet, but I would anticipate sometime early spring it'll be argued, and that means we probably won't get a decision until June.
Is there anything that you hear? I've been hearing rumblings that there might be some election integrity issues with absolute proof coming down the line sometime early next year. Have you heard anything about it?
Sean, I'm a former prosecutor. I've handled probably thousands of criminal cases, and one thing I learned a long time ago as a prosecutor is you cannot legally and ethically comment when you have ongoing investigations. One of the things that always worries me is that sometimes there's misinformation out there, or there's things that are speculation. And one of the things I've told people consistently is that as a prosecutor, we're not like the clowns in New York. We don't throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. Is you have to say, okay, what's admissible in court? Can we prove this? Can it survive a defense attorney scrutinizing it? I think we all know what happened in 2020, and we need to make sure we're doing everything we can to ensure the integrity of the process, and that means making sure, as I did in Brnovich v. DNC, that we don't allow ballot harvesting. We have voter ID laws. We need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to check signature verification requirements on mail-in ballots. I will tell you that it's not just me, but Jimmy Carter used to say the greatest threat to election integrity was mail-in ballots and third-party handling them. And there are too many states, including Arizona, where there's not enough being done to ensure that whoever is filing that mail-in ballot or sending that mail-in ballot in, that the signatures are being matched to the actual voter.
All right, well, keep us up to speed on all of that, and we're going to be watching very closely when we come back after our Christmas break, your race for the Senate, and I think you would beat Mark Kelly in a head-to-head matchup, and I think the people of Arizona deserve a lot better representation than a rubber stamp for Chuck Schumer and this leftist socialist agenda that they're pushing. Anyway, Attorney General Brnovich, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. We need a senator for Arizona, not one for the cartels or the human traffickers, Sean.
Appreciate your hard work. Chad is in Texas. Chad, you're on the Sean